How's everybody doing on Facebook and YouTube? What's going on, y'all? What's going on? It's Marlon here.
And Mrs. Marlon here.
What's your name?
Mrs. Marlon, Kareem Wilson.
What did your mama name you?
You're right. I'm claiming my old name back. This is Mrs. Young.
Yeah, they say on Coming to America Part 1, if your mama call you Keena, I'm going to call you Keena. If your mama named you Keena, I'm going to call you Keena. If your mama called him Clay, I'm going to call him Clay. So
my name is Keena Young.
Okay. But your mom didn't really name you Young. You just inherited it.
My mom named me Young. That's on my birth certificate.
She didn't name you it.
She named me it. She could have gave me another last name.
She could have.
She absolutely could have.
Which name?
Wilson. That's my dad's last name.
Whatever.
You know I'm right. We've been keeping score all day. I know we should not keep score, but who has been spanking who? Tell the truth. We just had a crack battle. And I humiliated him.
That's not true.
Who did you get the victory to?
That one round. Who won the next round?
There was no other round because you were knocked out. And that's what happens when there's a KO. Yeah. When there's a KO, there is not another round. And I knocked him out. I would tell y'all what I said, but I would never do him that dirty. But I definitely knocked him out. And he definitely... Did you give me the W, yes or no?
I did.
Thank you.
I did.
Thank you.
But at the same... But at the same time, we had different rounds. You won that round.
Baby, tell the truth. This Sunday, you just preached, before the people of God. We had one round and we were both a little bit tired and we wanted to do it justice. So we said, we'll come back maybe later on tonight, maybe middle of the night.
After the second round. Remember the joke that I said? I can't say it out loud. You remember it.
No.
You remember it.
No.
Whatever. Anyway. All right, y'all. We here. It's first Sunday. It's first Sunday. It's our regular schedule, and we won't be long today. We are still not done with our day. We still have something at 7 o'clock, so we have to leave here around like 6:15. So give us about 30 minutes. Give us about 40 minutes, and then we'll be out your way.
40 minutes.
30 or 40 minutes. All right. So, buddy, you want to tell people what we're talking about today?
Today, we are talking about different signs of knowing whether you are with the wrong or right person. So, different signs of knowing whether you are with the right or the wrong person. We'll see how many of these signs that we get through.
Yep.
And we're not saying that all these signs are fruit that you are with the right or wrong person, but we're saying that these are things that if they exist in your relationship or if they don't exist in your relationship, you should be communicating and talking about.
Yeah, especially if these things bother you, which I do believe that some of them should bother you and some of them should at least be a conversation piece. We're none to be, and I know I put that in the post, we're not in a position to tell you that you're with the wrong person. We're not in that position.
We're not even interested in telling you that you're with the wrong person.
Nope, that's not even
or the right person.
Nope,
because we ain't none of our business. Okay,
none of our business.
Unless unless you're mine, then I'll tell you with the wrong person. I think you're with the right person.
Yeah. So we just want to just say something that should be alarming, that should be at least conversation, that should be at least worth talking about.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, you know what? Yeah, you know what? That always bothered me. I can't let this thing build and grow.
Mm-hmm.
I need to make sure that it's done the proper and the right way and that we are tackling it, right? Tackling it. Tackling it does not mean that that it's over. It's just that we need to take this thing down before it scores on us, before it festers and grows into something big.
Yes.
Yes. All right, bigger. All right, so here we go. Reasons to be alarmed or something that's bugging you that you may want to talk about some of these things.
Yes.
Right? If you don't talk about them, then they may fester and become bigger.
Yes.
All right. Are you embarrassed by the person you're with? Does the person you're with embarrass you? Right. I would never say that they're the wrong person for you, but the question is, do they embarrass you? Do they embarrass you? The way they talk to the waiter, the waitress. The jokes that they are always making. What are other ways that people? The
way they dress, the way they look,
the way they dress, the way they look,
the way they talk.
Yep. The fact that they may not care about themselves when they go out, right? You know that they do have a decent wardrobe. You know that they have better clothes than what they've been putting on. But it's embarrassing to the fact that you don't try when you go out. It's embarrassing, right? Now again, if that is the case, I do believe that it's worth the conversation.
Yeah.
It's worth the conversation because you are in a relationship. The other person should be putting forth the effort to make sure that you're not embarrassed, that you are satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
So it's worth saying to the individual, hey, by the way, it's kind of weird that you do this and you don't do that, that happens, right? We won't say it's the wrong person. We won't say that you should end it with the person, but we will say that it is worth a conversation. Right?
Absolutely.
To be embarrassed, because nobody really wants to be embarrassed.
And I think that alone, it could be a very hard conversation to have with your significant other. Like, could you imagine someone besides your children, my kids tell me I embarrass them, but besides your children saying, yeah, you will have to really work on how you frame that. You probably can't say you're embarrassing. You probably have, right? And, this is just whenever you're talking to anyone about, any characteristic about them that you don't like, you want to separate who they are as a person from that specific characteristic. So it's not you are embarrassing. It's when you do that, it's embarrassing. Yeah. I don't want to just say you're embarrassing, but that behavior, that mindset, that
even that is a hard conversation to have.
It still is a hard conversation.
It's easier.
But it's important because what we're not going to do is spend our entire relationship being embarrassed by somebody.
Yeah.
Like, I rebuke that spirit.
Yeah, I'm not going to be embarrassed. So I got to let you know, hey, when you do that, when you talk to the waitress like that, when those jokes that you say are kind of disrespectful, when you say things about the other races when they're present in front of us, right? That's embarrassing. You're not an embarrassing person, right?
When you get too drunk.
When you get too drunk.
When you, too wild or too out of control, that's embarrassing.
That's embarrassing. What you post on social media, right? And how you present yourself before people, not physically, but just your character. That moments are embarrassing. It's still hard because people going through certain people can say, I'm my own person. Yeah. I'm gonna do what I want to do. Ain't nobody gonna stop me from doing my own thing. But again, it's worth the conversation because you don't want it to fester.
Because that doesn't feel good, right? If who wants to be around someone who is always embarrassing them? Yep. Like, I don't want to be around friends. Even my kids, we tell our kids, this is what you're not going to do. You are not going to go out in these streets and embarrass me. That's not happening. Our grandparents told us that. Mm-hmm. So most certainly you don't want to be in a relationship with anyone, but this is whether you're married or dating, who constantly embarrasses you. I want to distance myself from people who embarrass me.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree. So talk about that. Don't muzzle that. Don't just take it with a grain of salt, right? If it really bothers you and you to the point where when it gets to these situations, you don't want to do it and you don't want to go because the person is going to embarrass you when you do go, then talk about it. All right. Next one.
Yeah. The next one, babe, real quick. You said something about satisfied just now. What did you say about that? Do you remember? I know you're kind of sleepy. So
yeah.
Okay. It's okay. We can talk about it later. It brought up something, but I wanted to connect it. So we'll talk about it later. Do you feel like it always takes a great amount of work to be in a good spot in your relationship? Do you constantly feel like if you constantly feel like it just requires so much work to be at a good space in your relationship, that might, and this is all the time, this is not a season, then that might be a sign that maybe you guys aren't best for each other. One of the things that you obviously you wrote a whole play about it, Married and Engaged.
But not engaged, yeah.
Married but not engaged, wrote a book about it as well, wrote a book on it as well. And then afterwards you coined like this phrase that says, marriage is work, but marriage takes work, right? So when I say like it requires too much work all the time, I'm not saying that it should be easy or it should be a piece of cake, because no relationship is. Not when you have an altruistic relationship, a relationship where you are open and where you are honest, it's going to take work. But if you always feel like you're fighting against the grain, if you always feel like there's some sort of conflict, if you always feel like you're not happy, they're not happy, then that definitely, if that has been the entirety of your relationship, then you might be with the wrong person.
Yeah, that one, I do believe that one. Like we said, we're going to try our very best to stay away from that. But I do believe that because, again, I think that when you're with the right person, there's effort and energy on both sides, right? There's willingness to admit where they're wrong. Their willingness to say, you know what, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have done that. They should see you coming. You should see them coming, and make sure that when this happens and we get in each other's presence, that we digress. Because so I shouldn't be always beating against the grain. You should always be beating. It's just like, come on, why is this so tough to communicate, to agree, to fix our problems? It shouldn't always be this hard. Why? Because, and again, maybe it's this hard because I'm trying to put a square in a circle peg.
Yeah,
it don't fit. So I'm trying to push. I'm trying to make it work, and it was never supposed to work this way, right? So like, are you finding yourself like, we just can't communicate, we can't talk, there's always yelling, there's always fussing, we always disagree, there's always something. Now, if you got a backstory to that, and you're just, you are not letting yourself open up to this person because of what they've done to you, that's a different scenario, right? Because
I think those are seasons. Those are, there can be seasons of that. And here on MKW Loc'd Together, we always want to be as candid and as honest. There most certainly has been seasons where it's like, bruh, like, I feel like I'm talking, you hearing something completely different. You're talking, I'm hearing something completely different. It's like, what's happening? We've had seasons in our marriage where it's just like frustrating, where I feel like it was requiring a lot of work. But that most certainly has not been the entirety of our relationship. That has not been the majority of the relationship. It's actually been very small pockets. And I think sometimes those things, I think, Pastor, you can talk about this too. I think sometimes those places happen. One, when you're just overwhelmed and you got like a lot going on. I just think in general, as people, we're not as patient. We are quickly flustered and frustrated. And sometimes the tolerance that we have is the least in our relationship, because we have to be amicable at work, right? We have to be cordial out in the world. We have to put on that face. But when we get home, sometimes it's like we just don't, we're just overwhelmed and we don't have much left to give. I don't know.
No, I agree. I totally agree. But it's you noticing that that was a season. If you came in fighting, punching, kicking, screaming, and you've been fighting, punching, kicking, screaming forever, and again, it's not a backstory to it, right? It's not like, well, I'm doing this because. It's just our characters don't gel. If you see celebrities more so, they'll say things like they divorced because of irreconcilable differences.
Yeah, irreconcilable differences.
Yeah. It's kind of like we just can't get along. Like our differences, we're just different.
Okay, so babe, how do you feel about people who? And I know this is tight for you because I know how you feel about marriage. How do you feel about people who might have grown apart? People you've seen this more and more. People who have been married for decades. And then they divorce, and it's like, I am not who I was 30 years ago, which no one is, but some. Okay, I'm just, treading lightly. But how about the people who might say, we both grew, we both changed, we both evolved, your word, but we evolved in different directions? What do you say? Okay.
All right, so I'll say this to that. One, I just read something. I don't know what I was looking at. I think I'm looking at Barnaby Jones. Barnaby Jones is a detective show from like back in the day. My mom used to watch him. I came across him, and he divorced his wife. He passed away a long time ago, but he divorced his wife after 40 years. Like, what in the world? Like, why are you divorcing your wife? You've been married for 40 years.
I don't agree with none of that. I don't care if I'm 80.
What? That's crazy.
Listen, I could be 90. Not I don't believe in divorce, and I'm not saying divorce you. But if I'm miserable, if you ain't treating me right, I don't care if we've been married. I don't care if I'm 99 in the 99 quarter. I'm going to be telling my great-great-great-grandma, unique grandchild, you help me file these papers.
You're going to have to get somebody to help you file papers. Anyway, but I do feel if you grow apart, right? If you grow apart and it was God's will for you to be married, right? Because I don't believe it was God's will for you to get divorced. But if it's God's will for you to get married and you say we grew apart, which can happen, I don't think that you took the proper steps to be pulled back together, right? So yes, so if I say, why you divorced? Well, then I would ask you, did you do this? Did you?
But what if one person is taking the proper steps, but the other person ain't there for all of that work?
Well, they're not there. So then, but you both got to be in the ring.
I know, but
you both got to put on the boxing glove.
You're absolutely right. We both have to have on our gloves.
Both got. I'm just having conversations. If one person going to fight and the other person going to fight, then not going to fight, then is worthless.
Yeah.
It's worthless. If one person goes to therapy and open up and the other person be like, yep, yep, it's worthless because neither one of us, I mean, only one, it takes two, right? It takes two to say I do. It took two to have those kids. It took two, for the most part, to buy that house. It's going to take two to repair that marriage. It's going to take two to repair that marriage. So, our relationship, whatever it may be. So, you know, yeah, you can grow apart, but I believe that you can also come back together. But it's going to take both of you to do that. All right. That's the first question we asked in marital counseling. First question we asked, evidently they're there, but we asked a question that makes, you know, that makes sense for them to hear themselves. Do you want this to work? If you say yes, evidently you must because you're here, but do you want this to work? If you want this to work and you want to repair this, then let's get to work then. Yeah. Let's get to work and let's go home and do the work that we need to do for that to happen. All right.
We have had people come to us on how to divorce too.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
We got kids, we got property.
How do we divorce?
Family, yeah.
Well, one person did. The other person didn't really want to. It was one person who only wanted to. The other
it's
half,
almost always one person in the relationship.
All right. How does this person treat their family? Again, these are just signs that say, yo, we need to talk about this, right? How does the person treat their mom? How does the person treat their brothers and sisters? And now, again, are they disrespectful to them? Are they talking behind their back? Because that's family, y'all. Yeah. That's family. And, you know, we was raised to be loyal to, if we ain't going to be loyal to nobody else, we're going to be loyal to family. You're going to have your brothers back. You're going to have your sisters back. You're going to have your mama back. You're going to have your cousins back. You're going to have all they back because they're going to have your back too, right? So, but if they are negative to their family, how are they with you? Family is the core of our relationships. These are the people you have known the longest and should have deepest connection to. Of course, not all family members get along. Of course not. They don't all get along. And unfortunately, some people have difficult family situations. But a person who you are looking to love or should love should not disrespect the family that's emotionally supports them, right?
Yeah, and even Pastor and I, like, we've been together for a very long time. But if he felt like I'm out of pocket with my mom, he'd be looking at me like, you don't talk to your mama like that. Yep. And when he be out of pocket with his mama, and this is stuff that neither one of them know, I was looking at him like, no, you are not about to sit there and talk to my mama-in-law like that.
And I don't. I just, you know, I'm grown, so sometimes my voice get a little bit louder.
And I'll be like, babe,
I gotta tone it down, and I do.
That's not okay. But he do the same way. He be chin checking me too, and I'd be like, well, he be like, this is not happening. No. I'm like, you're right.
Absolutely. So again, are they disrespectful to their family? Right, because again, like, and I don't want to go this far with them with it, but again, you got to wonder. Right? You have to wonder the same way we say the thing about friendships. If you're kicking my back into them, if you're kicking their back into me, right? What are you doing about me to them or anybody else, right? So again, if you can talk this way about a family member who's really close to you and supports you and been there for you through thick and thin and be disrespectful, are you being disrespectful towards me? You know, you at least got to think that, right? So that's not what we want to do. Number 4.
This is so fitting that I have this one. How do you feel about public displays of affection? And I don't feel like if both of you guys are like, I can do without it, then do without it. You guys good. You guys, you know, y'all happy not being that way. It works for your relationship. There are no issues about it, right? It works for y'all. It works for y'all. But if, say, you are really into the PDA, which I have been my entire life, just an very affectionate person, not just romantically, platonically. I am very affectionate with my friends. I'm very touchy with them. I tell them I love them. I, verbalize, you look good. You look beautiful. You're awesome. You're great. I'm just like that. And so, like, I want that. I want that in every relationship that I'm in. That any relationship that matters to me and that's important to me. That's something that I want.
And you have to. I guess the conversation piece and the concern piece is you have to ask if you are somebody who likes it and the other person don't like it. Other person walks away from it. I do say this though. So I would use us as an example. She loves it overly. I'm a big guy. She's a small woman. So again, it's like, let me climb on you. Let me, sit on your lap and just wrap my whole body around this big tree of a guy, and I'm sitting here like, all right, now it's not the time and the place. But I don't ever feel like, maybe I've done it at one point in time because it's been so long, but I don't feel like for the most part I've shunned you away. Like I walked away before you got over to me. I kind of like, you grabbed my hand and I'll scratch my head, right? I would literally tell her. I would tell her to some degree and be like, yo, what are you doing? Like, not right now.
It makes them uncomfortable sometimes.
Yeah, it does.
Depending
on where we are, it does. And again, I'm not the openly affectionate guy, but I'm okay if she does it at the right place and I ain't watching a basketball game. Or I'm not trying to see something of a sight or something, and you just block my view of it. So I do think if you feel like the person is kind of like moving your hand, if the person doesn't really want to be hugged, you know, those things are worth conversating and say, hey, listen, every time I try to hold your hand in public, you move it. You don't ever say not right now. And even if you do say it a lot, why not right now? Why not while we're walking through the mall? Why not while we're walking out the movie theater? Why wouldn't you want to be? And again, there's tons of reasons why, depending on what level of relationship that you're in, there's tons of reasons why, that could be, honestly. I mean, we just got friends hearing something the other day. But
it's true, and we're not going to go a lot into this, but I think typically, just in general, women are more affectionate than men.
Hands down.
However, you are very affectionate. You're very affectionate in the bedroom. Absolutely. And I'm not talking about like in a sexual way, but in the bed, he is the cuddler. He's the person who's going to grab me and to hold me, which is a whole nother, that could be like a whole nother other conversation. Because why are you, and I'm not sure which one to spot, but why are you so affectionate in the bed?
Well, I think it just, to me, I just feel like it's the place. I feel like it's more of the place to do it at.
Okay.
Hey, Fee Hall.
Hello, but why do you think that's that you think that
it's going to lead to something?
Yeah.
No, I just feel like you're watching.
I think subconsciously
I feel like you're watching a movie. I feel like your whole body can get just wrapped up in each other versus a handheld hold. I don't mind. Like, it's the only time I get kind of like, come on, y'all. Like, you really got to see her. Like, you really got to see her. I don't really get like, come on with a handheld. I don't get come on when she kind of gets underneath my arm, whatever. I don't get like that. But if I'm sitting in a picnic chair and we at a barbecue or something like that, and she decides to come sit on my lap, that's fine. But then she lays on me. Then she wraps her arm around me like she's a monkey and I'm a tree. Like, literally just everything around me. So that's kind of like, yo, I can't breathe. But for the most part, no.
Definitely calm down.
No, she definitely calmed down. But no, I am more affectionate. Like, come on, in the, kind of like while we're watching a movie or in the bedroom. And to me, I just feel like, not that nobody's seeing it.
That's fair. I've never asked you why you're more like that.
But let's be real. Let's be true. And let's be honest. Right? Do we feel that there are some things just out of respect of where we are is appropriate? And that's not and you can come around certain things and see. We've all seen people inside of situations be like, chill out, right? Chill, right? I'm not saying you've ever gotten there, but there are some things.
Maybe that's me. I know I'm very, that I most certainly could say maybe I don't always. Well, I really just don't care, right? I don't care. Maybe I should care more, but I just don't care. For me, if I just want to sit on you, if I want to hug you, I feel like that's the benefit of being with you. Like, I feel like I should be able to touch you, or I should be able to sit on you. I'm not gonna do anything inappropriate. Like,
no, I agree.
That's crazy.
No,
I feel like that's the way I am. That's the way I express my affection. Me showing that I want to be near you, that I want to touch you, and it doesn't make me uncomfortable. Even though I don't see people like that, but if I did see like a wife sitting on a husband's lap, that would make me uncomfortable. But I have learned that it does make other people uncomfortable, including my husband. And so I try not to do it. And every time I'm not doing it, I want to do it. I would prefer to do it, but I just don't want to make you uncomfortable.
Yeah,
maybe
on that level again. So just to clarify, we're not talking about holding hands. We're not talking about regular hugs, getting underneath the arm to kind of wrap your arm around her or him. I'm talking about more so for me uncomfortable when it's like a lot. When it's like a lot, because I think I automatically think that now people are now looking at us. People are now kind of like looking over here, not saying like what y'all doing, not know that, but just like don't draw no attention to us.
Maybe people do, but I guess sometimes I don't pay attention to other people, so I don't think people are paying attention to me.
Yeah, well,
maybe
that's true, but people do watch. And people do pay attention.
And I just really don't care. But the only reason I care, and we're about to get off of this, the only reason I care is because I don't want to make you uncomfortable. And they used to hurt my feelings. Now we being so vulnerable right now. That really used to hurt my feelings, and I used to feel so rejected. And
Absolutely.
now
But with our points today, we talked about it. Mm-hmm. We talked about it. We did. She didn't just walk away from it. I gave her my reason. There was different reasons as we kind of moved in life and certain things, and we talked about it. So if that's an issue for you, again, not to say that you were the wrong person because they don't want to hold your hand or they don't want you to climb on them like they are a log. But at the same token, you at least should at least talk about it. All right. Next one. Because we got to get out of here at least by 6:15. If earlier if we could. All right. But we gave you 4. We're gonna give you 5. All right. Another one at least. All right. Do you laugh and have fun? That's important. Yeah. That's important. Like that's really important, y'all. Yeah. That's really important. Do you laugh and have fun? Again, not to say that if you don't laugh and have fun, get rid of him, divorce her. We ain't saying that, but y'all need to talk. Y'all need to talk. If y'all can't laugh, have fun, crack some jokes.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is too, if you've been with somebody for a long time, that already gives you upper hand. Why? Because you got stories. You got, remember I broke into your mom's house and she scared me when I jumped out the oven. Remember all of those scenarios and things like that. So, but then not even that, but just because you guys like and the chemistry with you, if you don't got history, you can still have fun and you can still laugh and you can still be there. That's important. Literally, really important that many people don't talk about the success and health of a relationship is the fact that you guys need to have fun, laugh, joke, crack on each other. Like, have crack fest to each other. Like you big head, putting your head on your glasses all the time. Like me and her always crack on each other.
You big.
See, we always start our jokes with "you big," and it just goes. They be crazy. They be like only we two would know what they're talking about. But whatever your fun is, whatever your laughing is, make sure you and if you don't find your spouse, your mate, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your fiance, if you don't find them funny or like to have fun around them, gotta have a conversation.
Yeah.
Gotta have a conversation. All right. Yes. It's a good one, Fee Hall. Yes, Sister Marguerite. Act like big kids. Yes, act like big kids. What's the next one? What we got?
Okay. Does that person have interests or activities that don't involve you? Interests or activities that don't involve you. Now catch this. This is a good thing for them to have activities outside of you. Yes. Activities that don't include you. I think, it could be so important. And we talked about this before. And Marlon and I have talked about this so many times, particularly women. I think women often get lost in their man. Okay. Ladies, any of you ladies who are watching it, even when your girl get a new man, she got a new man. You don't talk to her no more. You don't see her no more. She don't do nothing with you. Her whole life is that man. She becomes obsessed. And far too often, it doesn't change as the novelty of the relationship wears away. But you get married, you have kids, and your whole life become their life. Yep. What do you like? There again, another reference to Coming to America. What do you like? Whatever you like.
Yep. Yep. Bark like a dog.
Bark like a dog. Yeah. I'm not doing that. No. Not humiliating myself. No, I'm not doing that. But seriously, ladies and gentlemen, it is important for you to have a life outside of your significant other. It is important for you to have activities outside. Everything that interests you might not interest your significant other. Yeah. Everything that interests them might not interest you. And guess what? That's fine. That's good. You need to continue to do things that fuel you. You need to continue to do things that serve you. I'm a woman, right? My husband meets a lot of my needs, but I love having girlfriends because there are similarities that my husband and I don't have. He knows what it's like to be a dad. He doesn't know the struggle of being a mom. He doesn't understand the struggle of being a woman. He don't understand the struggle of not being able to fit in your clothes, or he don't understand the struggle that happens every month when your hormones are all over the place. He doesn't understand a lot of my struggles. Now he's great and he will listen and he will sympathize, but there are some things he just can't empathize with. It's not possible for him to get those things on level. He is my best friend. Don't get that confused at all. But it's important for us to have, of course, things that we love to do together. We love traveling. We love shopping.
Adventure.
We love adventure. We want to climb the mountains. We have so many different things in common. We love reading. But at the same time, he loves bowling. It's so boring to me. And when I go, I'll go with him to support him or try to have fun, but I'm silly and it's a serious game to him.
Get it together.
Yeah. And I'm like, no, this is a game, you know? So go with your boys. They love it. There are some movies I don't want to watch. Now some things I'll watch, but you know what? Go check it out with your boys. Y'all will love it. Why do I have to be tortured through it? There are tons of movies that I would enjoy. Me and my girls would be falling out, tears rolling down our eyes. Did that just happen? Did they just say that? And he'll just be there with me just to support me. Like, yeah,
that's why I get it. That's why, like, we're one of the few couples, possibly. No, I won't say that. I think every couple does this. Like, we don't watch a lot of shows together. Like, we don't. Like, every now and again, we got one show that we're watching at the same time, all the time, because our shows and the genre of what we want to watch is so different. I mean, it's so different. I can't watch medical shows. What's that? The Resident.
That's not my favorite show.
Y'all gonna laugh at me, but I haven't gotten into watching This Is Us yet.
You're so whack.
I think I want to.
A
Million Little Pieces. I started watching season 1 of that, and I'm not saying that I don't want to. Right?
He don't want to.
No, let me tell you the reason. If he wanted
to, he would.
Let me tell you the reason.
He watched a million shows.
A lot of times when it comes to A Million Little Pieces and This Is Us.
Yeah,
and
it's true.
Those are like real life stuff.
Yeah, it's
right?
true.
It's real life. And honestly, being a pastor or whatever the case is, talking to people, I really want to always deal with real life. I don't really want to deal with like the problem the family having and the mother ain't talking to the son. Great writing, great drama. I'm into all that. But I just don't. I want zombies, right? I want stuff that can't. I want stuff that I know ain't nobody gonna walk in my office and talk to me about.
And to me, those shows are a waste of my time, a waste of my energy. It is the biggest waste of existence to watch something that is just so fake and just so ridiculous to me. I just don't comprehend it. But I respect and I understand for his perspective that he needs he would like an escape from the reality of the world. And to me, I want to see healthy ways to deal with the things that we are dealing with in this world on an everyday. I want to see that there are other people, other places dealing with the same things that my family and I are dealing with. Even the health shows, they be having the same diseases we have.
Ain't no mother gonna come to my office and say, "Pastor, help me, because my son turned into a zombie."
Listen, it's 2021. You don't know what's about to happen.
That ain't gonna happen.
We walk around with masks on.
That's true. We kind of zombified already anyway.
Right.
But anyway, so that one right there, make sure that the person, you guys have two different, activities, but at the same time, support each other in those different activities, whether you're going, whether you're nudging them to go ahead and do it. Right? I'm always nudging her to go with her friends, always. And that's not for me to have my alone time because I got 4 kids in the house. So I ain't gonna have my alone time, but it's really also that she can have her life. So that she can have her life. She can have her life. All right. We're gonna have to skip a little bit here. Again, we had a good amount, but we probably got to do at least one, maybe 2 more. Amen. We have to be somewhere once again by 7 o'clock.
6:30.
Or 6:30. Here we go. So let's go with real simple. Do they make you a better person? Do they make you a better person? All right. Do they make you a better person? You gotta sit back and you gotta fall back on that one. And you gotta, before you talk to them, you gotta talk to yourself. Before you talk to him about that answer. Because I think once you realize it, and if they do make you a better person, tell them that they do. Right? Share it with them. Share it with them and say, hey, you know what? I appreciate you because you make me a better person. How? You tell them the how. You tell them you challenge me.
Oh, it died?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We back, y'all. We back. Our camera died, so we had to go to the webcam. But nonetheless, we're back. So tell the person, if they challenge you, and they're pushing you and you're not a yes person. Many different layers to this. If there are many different layers to this, make sure you say, hey, I appreciate you challenging me. Now, if they don't better you, right? If they're not bettering you, right? If they're if you're believers, right? And you're not challenging them to pray, you're not challenging them to read, you're not challenging them to be close to Christ, you're not challenging them to get some things together in their health, whatever it may be, whatever, again, you need to address that. You need to address that because I believe the person that you are with, you're with them for a reason, right? And by you being with them for a reason, that they're supposed to help grow you, not grow you, not change you, nothing like that's God's job, right? But help in that, assist in that. Don't just look at you and take whatever and be like, I don't care. I don't care. Do what you want to do. No, I want to. She wants to be my PR person, right? You ain't gonna go on these streets looking like a fool. You ain't gonna go on a stage and a microphone saying anything crazy. You're not gonna do that. I'm your PR person, right? I want to help you grow because again, I want the best for you, right? I want the best for you. So again, do the person help you grow.
And and some people might not like that. But I feel like if you don't got somebody in your life who can challenge you, then one, you need to be humble because you better believe that there's some areas of your life. And then like for me, like I want that. I tell him like, and sometimes I have to beg him because he's not as comfortable doing it. Like I'm like, I'm gonna tell you, I'm all on it. But I have to tell him like, babe, like I need you to. Like I have so many people around me who are not going to tell me the truth. Based off of like the relationship that you have with some people. I'm grateful because I do feel like I have a handful of people who will be honest, like you shouldn't have said that, you shouldn't have did that. You look crazy. Why are you wearing that? That ain't cute. I be telling him the same, like, let me know, babe. Like
now with that's fair. And this doesn't go with us anymore. But early on in our marriage, right? Super early on, we've been married 17 years this year. So we're talking about probably like year 2 or 3, right? I was trying to tell truths, but I felt that she did not receive my truths. So when the person does not receive your truths, it's hard to tell them truths. When the person is snappy, when the person is saying, how dare you say that? Let me do me. Then guess what? You can shut off all communication because if you can't receive I can't tell you.
Okay, because you started off the story. Y'all gonna learn us. You'll learn us. You start off the story giving us an example, but that wasn't my response. My response wasn't snappy.
No,
my response wasn't how dare you.
My
response was like, babe, you sure I can't wear this?
My
response was like, babe, are you sure this is too short?
No, not in that response, but the responses before that and responses before that. So that one, I didn't even put it on the table because my mind only went back to what happened 2 weeks ago. What happened a month ago, right?
Well, off camera, you're going to have to give me examples of those because we need them receipts.
That was 15, 16 years ago.
But you said it, you remembered it, so you're going to have to give receipts because you always give receipts of the incidents.
I will.
Of that one incident.
I will. So what I'm saying is, yes, be transparent, be honest, but, and tell the truth. But the person that's receiving the truth, receive it. Receive it. Right? As long as the truth is told in love and told in humility and you're not being judgmental, at least listen to what the person is saying. You may disagree with them. You may not agree with them, but don't get to the point where you're like, how dare you? Don't say this to me. But again, we are here to challenge each other, help each other grow, push each other, support each other, encourage each other, not to be yes men. Not to be yes woman, but just to simply say, hey, I'm here. What do our parents say? Which is the craziest saying ever, but it was the truth. Craziest saying ever. I'm beating you because I love you. Right? While the switch and the belt is going up against your skin, while you getting beat, as soon as you come out of the shower, which is crazy, I'm wet and you beating me with a belt. That's crazy.
Because not on my watch.
Because you ain't doing this while you got my last name. You ain't doing this while you got my face. You ain't doing this to me in these streets, making me look crazy, making the household look crazy, making our last name look crazy. So what am I doing? I'm beating you because I love you. But also, too, it's not just our parents, not just us, but it's also the word of God. The word of God says the Lord chastises us and he disciplines us because he loves us, right? So again, the same way that he breaks the legs of the sheep so that they don't, again, if one sheep begins to go off stray, he knows that other sheep are going to follow him. So what does the shepherd do? if that one sheep begins to go off stray and can't stay on course, he will break the leg of the sheep, right? He broke their leg because he loves that sheep and the one behind them. And he don't want none of them going off a cliff. But the great thing about our Lord and Savior, he don't just break his leg and just put him down. He breaks his legs and carry him, right? He takes him around. Say, I had to hurt you because I love you. But at the same token, I'm going to carry you while I'm loving you. So again, you got to be willing to tell the truth, even if it hurts. You got to be willing to challenge, even if it's uncomfortable, because it's going to help the person. But give it in humility, give it in love. Don't come off judgmental. It's always good when you are telling somebody truth about themselves. It's always good leading off with the, hey, tell them a story about yourself. Man, I used to be there too. I did the same thing. Don't come off judgmental. Don't come off like, stuff that you do don't stink. Don't do that, because it's hard to receive it. It's really hard to receive it when you do that. So, but that's all we got, y'all. It is 6:14. I think my son is out there knocking on the window like, Dad, come on, because we got to get him to his basketball game in about 15 minutes. He has a 7 o'clock basketball game. So we want to thank you guys for coming on with us for about 45 minutes. For about 45 minutes, and giving you a few reasons that, of concern that you may want to have with your loved one if it's not there. Absolutely, Sister Elaine. They may not receive it, but they heard you. They heard you, absolutely. Sometimes you got to put that seed in the ground, let God come in and water it, right? And let God come in and water it. Paul planted, Apollos watered, but God gave the increase, right? God gave the increase. All right, so this is all we got. Thank y'all so much. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Until next month, every first Sunday around this time. We were a little bit early today, but around this time, be with us on Loc'd Together, because we want all of you guys, whether you got locks or not, we want all of you guys, every relationship to be locked together. And let's lock together the right way. All right, everybody, have a blessed Sunday. Continue to have a blessed week, and we